Hello, I'm Brian Mansi, and in this tutorial we'll be looking at Luma, color wheel, and secondary corrections. Luma corrections are pivotal when it comes to color grading. Luma can be altered to make the shot more intense, to exaggerate or minimize the difference in light, or to alter the time of day. In this example, I will show you one method of making a bright daytime shot look as though it was filmed in the afternoon. The first adjustment I will make is to lower the midtones gamma, making the image look darker. If you watched the previous tutorial, you may notice the adjustment affecting both the midtones and the highlights. To prevent losing detail in the shadows, I will alter the shadows gamma, which you can do in some programs simply by adjusting the pedestal. One last Luma adjustment I will make is to lower the highlights gamma, or in some cases, the gain. This maintains the high contrast ratio the clip had previously by leaving the white point at 100, whilst giving the illusion of late afternoon lighting. That'll do for now, but we need to change the color temperature for the adjustment to be complete. We'll come back to this in a bit. One of the most useful tools when it comes to wheel corrections are the RGB scopes. We can use these to identify a color cast, white balance the shot, or pinpoint which areas of the image are white. In this clip, on the majority of the left side, the red channel is dominant because of the position of the fire. We can identify white in the RGB channels by looking at areas where each channel is in the same position, most commonly in clipped highlights. As the fire is mostly red, the blue channel has a much smaller presence in that position. Watch what happens when I turn the saturation to 0, essentially taking all the color out of the image. Any areas where the channels meet are white, black, or shades of grey in between, relating to their position in the scopes, remembering that 0 equals black and 100 equals white. So if you're trying to white balance a clip where an area is supposed to be grey, white, or black, adjust the wheels so that the channels line up at that point. For a tutorial on how to correct white balance, check the links in the description. Color wheel adjustments are another major part of color grading. They can be used subtly to alter the lighting temperature of a clip, or they can be used dramatically for a stylized and alternative look. Using the clip from earlier, I'm going to adjust the color temperature to make it warmer. This will complete the transition from the original daylight to a realistic sunset. Cool shots and warm shots are normally on opposite ends of the color wheel. If we imagine a color wheel underneath a vector scope, we can see how well balanced the shot is. Cool shots are generally in the blue section, bottom right, and warm shots are normally in the yellow-orange section, top left, with pure white being in the center of the scope. For more information on reading video scopes, click the link to my written blog in the description. Colors at opposite ends of the vector scope are considered complementary colors. These colors include blue and yellow, and red and green. Dragging a color towards its complement, adding the complementary color, cancels out the original color to the extent which you set when making the adjustment. This is useful for getting rid of unwanted color casts or washes, and correcting the white balance. In this case, I'm going further than cancelling out the original colour, adding an orange cast to the image by dragging the master wheel. This will make the colour temperature look closer to evening lighting. Evening shots with a warm look normally have either a slight or no cast in the shadows, but the master adjustment has created an imbalance. This has led to a significant colour cast, meaning that black has now become dark orange. To rectify this, we can drag the shadow wheel in the opposite direction, cancelling out the cast. The last wheel adjustment left is to alter the highlights. Highlights are good at setting the overall lighting temperature, so in this case, I'll drag it towards orange. All that's left to do now is to adjust the saturation to taste. And there we have it, we've gone from a pale overcast day to a moody afternoon shot. Finally, we'll take a look at secondary color correction, a very useful technique for either fixing a shot or creative purposes. Secondary correction is used to target specific areas of the image, isolating areas by creating masks which you can adjust as you please. Many programs, Premiere included, create masks based on a hue, saturation and lightness qualification. In this sense, color finesse is a little different. In order to select which areas to mask, we have to take a sample color, whereas in Premiere this is optional. You can have up to 4 samples and 6 individual secondary corrections. In this case, I'll stick with 1. With this shot, I want to desaturate or even change the colour of the bright blue fence in the background, as it distracts too much from the subjects in the shot. After you've chosen your sample colour, you can adjust the chroma to choose which hues are affected, similarly to the hue aspect in HSL qualifiers. With the Luma tolerance, you can choose what range of the image that's brighter and darker than the sample is affected, and the softness softens the mask created by them. The way the mask can be viewed varies on the program you're using. In this case, we can choose how it's viewed and toggle it on and off by ticking and unticking the preview box. Okay, the mask is covering the fence and leaving the rest of the image alone. Now we can make corrections. After desaturating the fence, our attention is focused more on the subjects of the image, the 2 people in this case. But what if I wanted to make the fence even less of a distraction? You can also apply wheel corrections to secondary corrections. Now the fence blends into the background, providing little to no distraction. That's all for now. For more information, check out the links in the description. The next tutorial will focus on using RGB curves and blend modes to give your footage a creative look. To stay updated, don't forget to subscribe.